going right to bed.
I love her.
In 900 feet, turn left on.
It's a nice day. It's fabulous. Great day to fly.
At the light, turn left on.
There is money in the floor. I believe it's money. Coins. Alright, we're on the bus.
No, not Hestia.
Athena?
She's not a major one. She's a minor goddess, and she's all about like sanitation and keeping like places.
There it is.
Ooh, that is so good. Whoa, look at that. Oh, that's.
Whoa.
They had sausage curries.
Say what you will about religion. We gotta go there. They have so much money. Yeah, they have so much money they can fund any art they want.
Yeah.
And it's so cool when they do it.
This is so cool.
Sightseeing self-drive? What?
Self-drive?
That's what it says.
Did you bring home a portable? Do you have cable?
That's cute. Cute. That's the Berlin Wall. I have to try German beer.
It's the worst for the rest of the
I got a beer to try since I'm of legal age. It's massive. This one comes with the whole family. That's so cool.
No way.
I have yet to try it.
I'm not the hugest fan of sour, but yeah.
Oh god.
We weren't able to order it yet.
Oh, it's made of Legos. I didn't even know that. That's cool. That's funny.
I don't know, man.
Oh. Oh, I thought they were postcards. Giant pencil.
Oh my god, please.
That's I'm getting a stamp. We went to this cute little store, which I showed you, and I got some few things, which I will show you also. Alright, we're on the way back to the hotel. Well, not back, to...
Oh, there's Hollister.
Alright, good morning. It is day 2 in Berlin. I'm about to go downstairs and get some breakfast.
Cereal. I really want to try it. I want cereal. They have corn. I want something I think there's some over there.
Good morning. So what does Bild mean? I think it means big, but gross is big. But
It's a big center of nightlife again, Berlin, especially East Berlin. And if you come here in the evening, like this neighborhood, you see the EasyJet set. The EasyJet set. EasyJet is a European budget airline. And like a lot of young Scandinavians, they take EasyJet to come here because going out in Stockholm is very, very expensive. Like alcohol is super expensive. Berlin is very, very cheap. Beer is cheaper than water here. And they pay 20 euros for a flight from Stockholm to Berlin. 20 euros if you book early enough. And they get a room in a hostel or a bed for like 20 euros they're probably not going to use. And they go out and they party because it's cheap. Panoramic view of central Berlin. This is a former Eastern harbor here. This is all East Berlin still. This is the communist East. The Molecule Man, there are 3 of them, it's called the Molecule Man. 1994. Further down is what's considered to be the most beautiful bridge in Berlin from 1896. Anticipate the question, there are no restrooms here. The next stop, the East Side Gallery, the Berlin Wall, there are restrooms here. Here there's just tree number 17. Or 21 for the ladies. That it played the big role in defeating the Nazis, so they're good, you know. And too many Americans and Brits and Canadians are taught in schools that the United States and Great Britain played the big role in defeating the Nazis, and D-Day was the biggest battle of the war and the turning of the tide, and that's not true. The Rodina, Mother Russia, she's mourning her fallen sons. And it's typical of like totalitarian architecture, this axiality. And she's the counterpoint to the heroic soldier. There's triumph and trauma. You see it all over the park, triumph and trauma. The distortion of the war, and it's a mistake we all make, and I do it a lot too out of habit. We discuss the Second World War, we talk about the Russians. We've got to stop doing that. It wasn't the Russians, it was the Soviets. Not the Russians, the Soviets. Ukrainians, Belarusians, Balts, you know. And when Germany attacked the Soviet Union, Stalin, who was not a Russian, a Georgian, right? His name wasn't even Stalin, it was Djugashvili. Stalin is the name he took while he was robbing banks to finance the revolution. It means man of steel. Stalin has a nervous breakdown. And he hid away in his summer house for a week. When he pulled himself together, he made this big speech and he proclaims the Great Fatherland War. The Great Fatherland War. And to Russians today, it's not the Second World War, it's the Great Fatherland War. And the Fatherland War is a war against Napoleon.
Wait, if you're like behind Alan, me, you, and Ben will like hide away in a closet. Oh, it's so nice and warm here.
marble from Adolf Hitler's chancellery. It's not marble, it's granite. It was quarried in Sweden and Norway, and the Nazis were going to use it for prestige projects after they won the war, but it's not from the chancellery. These are two Soviet soldiers. Everyone joins the fight against the Nazis, so you have an old soldier with a mustache and a younger one. They're holding the standard automatic rifle of the Red Army, the PPSH 41. The Americans call them the burp guns because they're rapid emissions of fire. The Russians today, it turns out, are really bad at making weapons. They used to be really, really good. And the Soviet weaponry, it was built on the KISS principle, keep it simple, stupid. Tanks, artillery, machine guns that were easy to manufacture, easy to repair, easy to replace. German weaponry is too technical. When they introduced the Tiger and the Panther tanks in the Eastern Front, it was a disaster. There were too many things that go wrong, but the Soviets kept it simple. On the sides are 16 cenotaphs, 15 for the 15 republics of the Soviet Union and 1 for the Soviet Union itself. And on the side you see golden letters. Those are quotations by Joseph Stalin, the greatest mass murderers in human history. But you know, the United States and Great Britain needed him because the Americans and the British could not have defeated Germany on their own. Not in any time frame acceptable to a democracy. They needed the Soviets.
There was a lot of interesting information I wasn't able to capture, but it's a really beautiful place. One was, I think it was like 7,000 soldiers were buried here. And there's no tombstones because they don't want to remember the failures. It's a very beautiful place. These are Joseph Stalin's words engraved in gold. So up ahead is a statue of a man, I'm not sure his name, carrying a little girl. The artist said that this was pretty much like a man carrying a little girl out of the war, I believe he said.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
So now we're going to cross the most beautiful bridge in Berlin, as it's called, the Upper Tree Bridge from 1896. It was built for that trade fair we talked about earlier. It was destroyed along with almost all the bridges here in the war, rebuilt only in 1995. And on the other side, we're back in East Berlin. And on the other side, the East Side Gallery, the longest part of the wall still standing altogether. The wall was like 100 miles long all around West Berlin. Everyone hated it. People thought, we looked at that thing for 20 years, can we get rid of everything? But a group of artists saved it. This part you're about to see. In September 1990, they created these famous works of graffiti art here you're about to see. And the most famous is by a Moscow artist, Dmitry Vrubel. He was an opponent of Putin. He died here for COVID just last year. Let's driving through the wall. You go right first? Yeah.
That'd be so cool if they said Berlin. I'm gonna get one anyway. Oh my god. 10 euros. Yikes.
And now you're going to see Red City Hall, the main city hall of Berlin from 1874. It's the flag of Berlin, the red and white flag with the black bear on it. The bear is the symbol of Berlin since the Middle Ages. By the way, if you've noticed them already, there are several hundred life-size bear statues standing all the Those are called the Buddy Bears. The Buddy Bears, because the bear is the symbol of Berlin. Standing outside the church of reading, and why Germans love music, and why Germans value the family so much. You know, Martin Luther, there's a very dark side to him too. This whole island has just been renovated for 1.5 billion euros. On the left is the oldest museum here. It's called the Old Museum. It houses mostly the sculpture.
How original.
Crowning achievement of Prussia's supreme architect Karl Friedrich Schinkel. This is Schinkel and the Schinkel School. By this great architect Schinkel, here on the right, the former Palace Guard Station from 1817. It's now the memorial to the victims of war and tyranny.
Can't remember what he said these were.
So the bear is like the symbol of Berlin, he said. So we're gonna go see that little Lady Liberty bear. That's cool, it's done with acrylic paint.
Ja, aber das Schöne ist auch, was ich so aus Erfahrung sagen kann, wenn man mit der kleinen Werkstatt wenn der aus dem 6 Stunden Abend rausgeht.
Ich könnte jetzt sagen, das ist ganz schön.
There were all kinds of refugees from all different places. Right now we have the Ukrainians. And also in the 18th century, Bohemian weavers were persecuted by the Habsburgs. Their Austrian rulers came here. Their church, the Church of the Bohemian Brethren, used to be right here. This is what it looked like. It was destroyed in the war. And in the 1990s, the Swedish-American sculptor Claes Olsson, Oldenburg.
That's cool. This is the walking man here for the lights. Jesus. Oh, this is the star.
Weißt du? Nee, er macht das mit dem Tablet. Dann
Very expensive to live here. Yeah, you need a lot of money, a lot of patience. There's only less than 1% of apartments in the city are available.
Wow.
Right, it's the king. If you give His Majesty €1, you can get your picture taken with him. Because the kingdom's hitting on hard times. He has to make money somehow. 40. 20 minutes, yeah.
Questionable.
On his grave. Now, he's a little bit like a George Washington figure. There are all these myths and legends about him that have little or no basis in reality. And if you come here on a busy day, you listen to all the guides speaking, let's say you can understand all the languages, you hear the same story told here like 1,000 times a day. And the story is Frederick the Great brought the potato to Germany. He teaches us to eat our favorite food and save the people from starving and blah, blah, blah. And it's all nonsense. The potato was here long before he was ever born. There is a connection though. He tried to get farmers to grow them with mixed results. These kings weren't that powerful. Colleagues that get upset when they say, no, Kevin, that's not true. He loved his wife, he loved his mother. Yeah, every prejudiced person is like that. You know, that one's okay, but the group, no. And I say, a man who throughout his entire adult life continually says, all women are whores, the man has a problem with women. But the dogs have to be female, so we have Freddie and his bitches here. He has a favorite dog. The favorite dog sleeps with him in bed and dines at the table. And usually they'll have like 4 or 5 dogs all together. Those dogs do anything they want to in the palace, anything. The servants don't like the dogs. The servants have to speak to the dogs in French because German's not good enough for them. And they have to address the dogs as vous. It's a formal pronoun. You just indicate respect to human beings. He's not buried here. This grave shocks the world back then. The dogs aren't the problem. In the 18th century, everyone sees a problem with this grave, but we don't because we're too modern. No crosses. No quotes from the Bible. Heathen gods, Julius Caesar and the first Roman emperors. This is Frederick's in-your-face anti-secularism. This is Frederick sticking up his middle finger at Christianity. Because Frederick is an adherent of the French Enlightenment, which is extremely hostile to Christianity. Not the German Enlightenment, but the French Enlightenment. It's basically they believe Western civilization reached the zenith with the Greeks and the Romans, but then came the Christians and ruined everything. And ever since Christianity, it's nothing but superstition and idiocy and mindless hatred. Frederick is head of the Protestant.
So this is Frederick's grave, and these are his dogs.
Look at that building.
What the heck? That's crazy. There's the dog.
I think I'm one of those too.
I don't know which one I want. Mocha Becher. Schokoladen Becher. Dankeschön.
This is delicious. So much flavor.
It's not allowed in a lot of places in Europe. I don't know if Germany's one of them.
We are back at our hotel for the night. I am going to get everything ready because we are traveling to Prague tomorrow. So this is the end of this first video. There will be 4 of these. First stop was Berlin, Germany. Tomorrow we're going to Prague. So I'm very excited to share that experience with you also. Postcards. I wrote one to myself, to the Kippenberger family, which is my mom and dad, and then to my sister. So from Prague, I will send one to my grandma's, and then from Krakow or whatever, I'll send one to my aunt. But I'm very excited and hope you guys enjoyed this first bit of my trip.